and with Adam Ortiz, and we're going to talk about Oxen Run, what we can do on both sides of that imaginary line called the district line, and how we can make Oxen Run a viable stream again. What their plans are is to remove the concrete and then make it more a winding stream so that you reduce the velocity of the stormwater that is going through that. It also creates so that it is more park-like. There is funding. I know everyone probably remembers when the University of Maryland came out and all the students did a charrette, and they did the bike trail and all the way from Southern Avenue all the way to Woodrow Wilson Bridge. Well, they took that plan, and the University of Maryland took that plan, and they marketed that plan. And there's a company called Tool that DC, Prince George County, the U.S. Park Service, they have funding for that whole thing. And Forest Heights was involved because we had 50 feet of it. Well, for 4 years, I've been pushing that. Why aren't you doing anything? Why aren't you doing anything? But because we only had 50 feet of it, we couldn't do anything. Well, guess what? As of March the 8th, it will be squarely, all of it, inside of Forest Heights. So now I can talk to people and we can get this ball moving. Our council persons that went with us to the Hope Gala can tell you that I spent a good 45 minutes speaking to Ben Cardin's person who has promised, because Ben Cardin is a very good supporter of bike trails. He's a biker himself. He said, and I've talked to him before we even did this, he said that all we need to do is get it started. If we have any problems, call him. We can get the funding to get that bike trail done. Now, what will that do for Forest Heights? Jackie Boykin, you're a real estate person. Having an amenity like that right next door to you, what does that do to the value of your properties?
Increases the value drastically. It does. Because they have amenities.
Yeah, so now you have an amenity here that people will start paying attention to. And it is, because that's a U.S. park, it is a lot of people that will be coming and using that bike trail. We let the Prince George County Biking Group use our municipal hall in January, I believe it was. And they were so impressed by that bike trail because they didn't even know it was there. So these are the types of things that we need to do to bring awareness to our area. I mentioned the grant from PEPCO. I talked about the state highway continuing the crossing work and our continued work to address our stormwater issues here in Forest Heights. Some of the programs that we have is the Forest Heights YMCA Senior Exercise Program, the Forest Heights Healthy Heights Program. I am going to be asking the council to please move some monies over so that we can continue to fund the Healthy Heights. Right now, I am going to be talking to someone from Kaiser in the next week to see if they have a grant that we can continue to have Charmaine Turner working under the Healthy Heights, because they have brought a lot of things to us and a lot of recognition. Our senior living, our senior luncheons, our healthy eating, active living award, and we are, Forest Heights is the second town in Maryland to receive that award. Continued work on our Let's Move program, our Come Bloom program, our youth program, and our My Brother's Keeper initiative. I know a lot of people have said, what's My Brother's Keeper? However, and why haven't we heard anything? That has so many moving parts and so many things that we have to do to get to the point that we are now, that the planning, the pulling the people together. We have about 75 different individuals and nonprofit organizations. We are doing our website now. We have our people that are moving and working the different parts, the community relationships. Forest Heights Oxon Hill CDC community executive or executive director Jill Wilson is one of my top persons. I have another gentleman who is Robert Johnson. He's from Bowie. He's one of our top people. Keto James is my government liaison, so that we can begin to attack this network and get this network going from all different levels. I've been to the White House 7 times this year for My Brother's Keeper. I was just there on the 12th. After I left the 12th, we got a call from United Way for the My Brother's Keeper. United Way wanted to know how our program is being structured, how it's been put together, and they were very pleased with the way that we're putting it together. They're on board with us, so we're going to be talking to them some more about getting some additional funding. I also spoke with, last week, I was at the White House. I stayed there, it seems like, Mimi, or B told them last week I couldn't come. I told them, no, you don't tell the White House you can't come. But I was there for a women's celebration, and I had the opportunity to meet the director of the University of Chicago's program for public relations, and she also is the person that was responsible for bringing that program, BAM, to the president. And so I just was sharing with Mayor James that we're going to be meeting with her because they've offered technical assistance to My Brother's Keeper Prince George County Network to get that ball moving down the road. This has to be something, and that's one of the things that all the mayors have talked about. This has to be something separate from any person. You have to make it a community thing. And for those who don't know, My Brother's Keeper is addressed to raise the living, quality of living, the education, the chances, the opportunity for our young men of color. And like I tell them, in Prince George County, our young men of color means 85% of our young men of color are black, okay? So we need to start addressing this problem from birth to 24. We are in support of the expungement law. That's one of the things that we've done under the Maryland Black Mayors. I sent Vern a notice or an email in December. Councilman Patterson pushed a bill through that said ban the box. If you have more than 25 employees, you can no longer ask on your application. So we're updating our application here at Forest Heights, even though we don't have that many employees. So these are the things that we all need to begin to work with, our council, our citizens, our faith-based, our nonprofit organizations. If we're to create citizens that are productive, we are going to have to work together. And I hope all of you would join me with My Brother's Keeper.